Hello again. Now we are going to go over the oil blending problem. It is found in your text on pages 164 and 165. Again, my little ones are with me while I'm recording this, so you might hear their sweet little voices and playing in the background. Alright, first of all, we've got to fix a couple things with our template. The selling price of the gasoline is $75 in your text, not $25, and the selling price of heating oil is $60. So I'm going to go ahead and make those adjustments just so our numbers match the numbers that are in the book. Next, we are going to go ahead and identify our decision variables, and our decision variables are going to be how much of each type of oil, crude oil 1 and crude oil 2, do we turn into gasoline and heating oil. So we're going to go ahead and identify those. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and name my ranges. And so what we're going to do is, first of all, we'll grab the quality points obtained, quality points required, the barrels sold, and I think that that's all that fits that same shape, and go ahead and create the name from selection. Make sure it says left column, push OK. Next, we're going to grab barrels used and barrels available. We'll go ahead and create from selection. This time it'll create it from the top row. We'll grab revenue. And then we're going to grab our decision variables, which are going to be our blending plan. We are going to have to define the name ourselves on this one. I believe that that gets us all of the names that were used in the original problem. So let's go ahead and go up, and we'll copy and paste our names. Paste our list. And yep, it looks like it matches. Okay. So the next thing what we have to do, we've already identified our decision variables. We've highlighted those in orange. And so now we've got to work on our calculations. Well, in order to make sure that we don't go over our constraint of barrels available, we have to calculate how much of each type of oil that we use in our blending plan. So we're going to do equals sum of gasoline, the amount of crude oil 1 that's used in the gasoline and the heating oil, and I am not sure what happened there, but that is not what it was supposed to do. Okay, let's try that again. That looks better. Okay, we can just copy that down. And that is going to have to be less than or equal to the amount of barrels available. And you don't actually have to put this here. It doesn't do anything except maybe make it a little bit more clear for you all when you go to put your constraints in Solver. All right, we also have to calculate the number of each type of product that is created. So sum the number of barrels used to create gasoline and heating oil. And let's go ahead and calculate our revenue, because that's an easy one. So we're going to do the sum product, and we're going to use the amount of barrels of each type that were created, and then we use our selling price per barrel. Okay. And that is going to be, that's what we're going to maximize when we run Solver. Now, let's calculate our quality points obtained for each product. So part of this blending is that the gasoline has to be at least 8 quality points per your problem, and the heating oil has to average at least 6 quality points. And the crude oil 1 is 10 quality points, and crude oil 2 is worth 5 quality points. So we're going to blend the two so that you get the correct average. And the average can be above the quality it has to be for that particular product, but it cannot be below. So let's calculate how many quality points were obtained. And to do that, we're going to do the sum product of, and we're going to, not sure what it did there, but it wasn't supposed to do that. So we're doing the sum product, and we are grabbing the types of crude oil 1 and crude oil 2 that were used in our blending plan, and then we are going to grab the quality points for 1 and 2. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing over here. So sum product of the heating oil, our blending plan for the heating oil, and the quality points per oil. All right. And now we have to calculate the number of points required. So this is a fairly simple one. It is the number of barrels created times the number required for that particular product. Okay. And so now we can go ahead and put all of this into Solver. And we're going to set objective B27 to a maximum. And we're going to grab our blending plan cells, and then we have to add our constraints. And we've got a couple of constraints here we have to worry about. First of all, the number of barrels of each type of oil used have to be less than or equal to the number of barrels available. Got one more constraint we have to add, and that is that the quality points that we obtained have to be greater than or equal to, oh, I did that backwards. No, I didn't. I'm good. Okay, have to be greater than or equal to the quality points required. Okay. So that's going to be B22 and C22 have to be greater than or equal to B24 or C24. Okay, there we go. And again, put it on Simplex LP and go ahead and solve this thing. And we find that our ideal plan is to use 3,000 barrels of crude oil 1 for gasoline and 2,000 barrels of crude oil 2 to make gasoline. And to make heating oil, we will use 2,000 barrels of crude oil 1 and 8,000 barrels of crude oil 2. We're going to produce 5,000 barrels of gasoline, 10,000 barrels of heating oil. We have used all of our oil, as we can see right here, and we have met exactly the quality points contained. Our revenue is going to be $975,000. Those are all details that you would want to put in your write-up as you were explaining the model. Now, let's use solver table on this one. And the book has you look at the selling price of gasoline to see how that affects the blending plan, the barrels sold of oil 1 and 2, and the revenue. So let's go ahead and run solver table. Yes, we have an active solver on the sheet. We're going to do a one-way table, and we are going to vary the of the selling price of gasoline. Our minimum value is going to be $50. Our maximum value is, we will make $150, and we're going to go in increments of $5. Okay, we are going to grab the number of barrels sold as our output cells along with the revenue. And then we're going to push OK. Oh, we'll make, we'll leave it alone. Okay, we won't put it in the description this time. You don't really have to. It can help you. All right, so what we see is if the price drops below $60, we are not going to make any gasoline. We are going to make all heating oil. And as once the price of gasoline gets to $60, we are going to make 5,000 barrels of gasoline and 10,000 barrels of oil. And it doesn't shift any more beyond that as far as what we're making. However, our revenue obviously goes up as the price of gasoline increases. So this is what I would expect you to discuss in a write-up based on this sensitivity model. Okay, the next solver we're going to do is going to look at the, we're going to do another one way, and we're going to look at the number of, the number of barrels of crude oil 1 that are available, and we will vary that from 2,000 to 20,000 in increments of 1,000. And we're going to keep our output cells the same. We're going to look at how much gasoline we would produce, how much heating oil we would produce, and what our revenue would be under this model. Okay, so if as you have less heating oil, you are going to produce less gasoline. Your revenue also drops. As the number of crude oil 1 barrels increases, you are going to produce more gasoline and your profit increases. So what you would recommend to your manager, if it was feasible from this, is that you seek to purchase more barrels of crude oil 1 because you could increase your profits if you had more of that available to do your blends with. All right, I hope that this one has been helpful for you. I will try to do some more for you, but I think that this covers the majority of what you had to do for homework. I think, no, there's 2 other problems. Anyway, I will try to grab those for you by the end of the weekend and do some more demonstrations for you. Again, if you need help, please reach out to me. I am available to help you. Email me, call me, and I will be glad to try to help you if you get stuck on something.